Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. For those of you who can't join us live Sunday evenings, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this recording. My name is Kelly Brown, for those of you who don't know me, because there's a group of us that we all gather from all of our challenge groups to kind of pour into you value of things that we're learning and tools that we hope can help you as you navigate the programs and things that you've invested in. And so tonight I'm excited to lean in with you and share with you about the lie of motivation. We're in a holiday season, and I say that to be like sarcastic, but I hear a lot of, I'm just not motivated. I've said it myself. I don't feel motivated. I don't feel like it. I feel stuck. And so what I want to do is share with you, I have 7 points to think about, and some of them are things you can actually apply. Some are things you need to reflect on. I have fruit flies all over my kitchen from our guinea pig right here. You can't see them. Sorry. That's why I'm doing this. But the first thing I want to tell you is the fact that you are on your journey and not putting it on hold during the holidays is a huge bonus that most people don't take advantage of. Most people consider this the time of year where they get out. Like, I've heard people tell me, like, why they have like these like stretchy pants, or they just assume that they're just going to gain weight, or they're just going to do this. And I really think that we need to first, before we even talk about motivation, give ourselves credit for the fact that during the holidays, during Thanksgiving or Halloween or now Christmas season, we were willing to say, I want to do something different. That's a huge accomplishment in itself. But you purchase something, to be in our challenge groups. You either have To Be Mindset, Ultimate Portion Fix, Beachbody on Demand, the new bar program, Shakeology, Performance Line, tools to help. And I don't know how many times I've had clients who have said, oh, my bag is just sitting on the counter and I haven't even opened it after like 2 weeks. And I had to sit and reflect a little bit, or I haven't pushed play in a week, or I haven't finished the To Be Mindset videos, and now I just feel like I'm so behind. And I had to tell you that it's okay, but we don't want you to stay there. Like, it's okay if that happens, but it's not okay for you to stay there. And so if you're waiting for the motivation to open the bag of Shakeology, or the motivation to press play on your first workout, or the motivation to finish the To Be Mindset or journal your stuff, you're going to be waiting a long time. Because motivation itself is fun when we have it, but it's fickle. And it can't be the reason we want to change. You're going to have it come and go, and I'm going to talk to you tonight about ways to tap into it and help it in some seasons. But I'm also going to talk to you about what to do when it's just not there. Because what I believe is when you're struggling to have motivation, and I'll even change that word, when you're actually not struggling, you're being challenged to grow. The first thing I'm going to talk about is, like, you have inside you this inner kid. Okay, we all have them. If you're a mom, sometimes your inner kid loses their marbles and acts like a 4-year-old towards your 4-year-old. I did that today after church. And just like little kids teeter and totter in their enthusiasm on things, sometimes they can be so on board and then they can flip and not want to do it. Our inner child, our inner kid, our ego, our primal brain, whatever you want to call it, it's there to protect us from hurt, harm, disappointment, and things that could hurt us. In the old days, it was to protect us from not getting eaten by a dinosaur. It was there. It's kind of what, sometimes goes off and makes you nervous when you're being faced. Like, for example, my husband signed me up for my birthday last night to do an escape room. And the moment he told me that we were doing it, I started sweating profusely. I was afraid of going. I just didn't want to do it. It was way out of my comfort zone. I was not motivated to go, even though he planned it for me and I was really excited. I wasn't. I mean, I told Angie I was going and she laughed hysterically and was like, that is so not your jam. But I also knew he was inviting me to do something. And if I actually got out of my way and went, I would have fun. So I went, and it was a lot of fun, and we escaped, which was really great. So what does it have to do with your fitness program or your nutrition? If you are like finding yourself that you just keep eating the chocolate, or you just keep you know, snacking on the peppermint bark, or you just keep skipping your workout, or you're just up late partying. You sometimes have to just take a moment and tell the part of you that is self-sabotaging that they can let go, because you don't need them anymore. You have to break up with them. The voices that say you're struggling, you say to them, it's a language change. You say, I'm not struggling, I'm just being challenged to grow. And as silly as that might sound, that one phrase change, I stopped saying struggling a couple years ago, and 95% of the time I say I'm challenged. And I have to tell you, it makes a huge difference, because if you're struggling or you're stuck, there's a sense of hopelessness. If you're challenged, there's a sense of, I have to overcome this because I'm going to grow through it. And so if you're lacking motivation, and part of it's because the thought of actually going through the holidays and exercising a few days a week and having to let go of that excuse scares you, then you need to recognize that that's what's going on. It's not that you don't have motivation. You're just afraid of being uncomfortable. You're just afraid that, and it will feel real. Like anytime you want to make a change, like it feels real. Like when I first had to give up certain foods because of my stomach issues, I thought you were ripping off my arm. Like I was going to die if I never ate that again. But I'm here, and I still slip up sometimes, but I know the truth is I'm capable. It just feels uncomfortable. It's like doing those one-armed burpees in Morning Meltdown 3000. Like you go to do it and you're like, how am I going to do this and not fall on my face? Well, sometimes you put one arm down and you step back. Sometimes you put both arms down and then lift one up. Like you do what you need to do, but you show yourself that you're capable, and you don't have to hold on to that faulty belief that like, you can't do this. Whatever is in your head that's told you you can't, it's just you trying to protect yourself from disappointment. But what you're actually doing is preventing yourself from success. You are cheating yourself of a positive experience. You are cheating yourself of freedom. When you said yes to whatever product you have, you wanted something different. So notice the voice or the feeling, or, your inner mean girl, whatever you want to name it if you want, your ego, and silence it. Like that's the first step, because you're going to get caught up in a battle with it. Then you're going to be exhausted and you're not going to make the change. So take that time of just knowing you're not struggling to be motivated. You're being challenged to change. And you've made a decision that you want change because you said yes, which is the hardest part. Now it's just taking that time to remind that part of you, I'm not going to do that anymore. It's okay. You don't have to, like, I'm not in danger, and make the decision to grow. The second thing is to be honest with yourself. And this takes a little reflection, and you could talk to your coach about it if you need someone to guide you. What'll happen if you don't change? What'll happen if you don't watch TV Mindset and actually track and apply the videos? What'll happen if you don't work out? What'll happen if you don't drink your Shakeology? Besides the fact that you're going to be literally flushing money well spent down the toilet that you took from your family, what will happen to you if you don't commit? What could happen if you don't tap into the challenge group? I know for me, it's not to make you feel bad. It's to remind you why you chose to do what you do. It's not self-bullying. It's just truth talk. If I don't work out 5 days a week, my anxiety starts to get really bad. If I don't drink my Shakeology consistently, my digestive system gets thrown off, and I already struggle with a weak immune system, and I get sick. It's something to help with my defense against getting sick, because there's so much good in it. If I don't track my food, I'm going to not know what's bothering my stomach. I could easily gain weight back and feel uncomfortable, and then be irritated, and then be not nice to my kids and not want to be around my husband. I have to sometimes remind myself what would happen. To get really honest with you, I had to have that realization because the last year I had a lot of health issues, and I didn't want to do the changes. I didn't want to do them. There were a lot of things I was asked to do. I didn't like it, and I wasn't motivated. If anything, I was just ticked off. And I had to look at what would happen if I didn't. And the honest truth is, I love my mom. My mom is amazing. My mom has Alzheimer's, and I'm built just like my mom. in a lot of ways with our bodies. And I don't do it to scare myself, but I remind myself, like, number one, do I want to end up with the health issues she has with her joints and her body and her chronic pain and her mind? But number two, I do it because she would want me to do it to make her proud that I learned something different, and I'm choosing to be active with it and not ignore it and be ignorant. So being honest with yourself, what'll happen? How will it affect your marriage, your family, your job, how you see yourself in the mirror? Not just in a week from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. Sometimes you have to be really real with yourself. You know, if you're losing your stuff with your kids all the time and you just keep doing it over and over and over again, what's helped me sometimes is to think, if I don't change and learn new skills and I keep doing this as a mom, what's going to happen to my family? What is this teaching my kids? And it stings, but it gives me motivation out of love, not of fear. Love. I love them more to do this. I love my husband enough to do this. I love myself enough to do this when I don't feel like it. And those are the two that are a little heavier, you know, but I think it really helps to get real with yourself, and you have to do it from time to time. And that's something I learned from a mindset coach and mentor I've been working with. There have been times where I've struggled with certain things, and he's asked me hard questions and said to me, like, and then what would happen? And then what would happen? And it stunk, but it really helped me to learn, like, but I don't want that. And when you start to beat yourself up and think, if I don't do this, then I'm going to ruin my family's life, you tell that inner person, number one, that's not true. I'm just being challenged to grow. So those are the big ones for tonight. The other ones are more tools that you can apply, but you kind of need to know, like, what your inner ego is saying and what could happen if you don't first, before you can really apply the other tools well. And I have to be honest, y'all, I've been doing challenge groups for 6.5 years, and I just learned some of these tools, the first two, like this past year, and it's been groundbreaking is the right word, but like, it's really been mind-blowing for my journey, and I'm so glad to share them with you sooner. You know, I wish I would have had them sooner. So the number 3 is collecting evidence that shows you what you're doing is working. If you have a negative mindset and you're starting with a negative mindset, you're taking pictures weekly, you're tracking your food, checking in the challenge group, and showing progress photos, at least to your coach, is so important, because you literally are going to have to teach your brain by showing it that it works. And sometimes you're going to take a progress photo and see nothing, and the scale's not going to move, and the inches are going to be the same, but you're going to send it to your coach, and they're not going to lie to you. They're going to tell you there's a difference. I've had that happen with me. They're going to see muscle definition or thinning in your face or healthiness. Like, I did a whole 90-day program one time and only lost 1 pound. And I had to have coaches tell me, like, no, I had arm, like, I could do push-ups and pull-ups. Like, you have to track evidence to prove your brain and your mind and heart, this is working. If you're not doing that, then you're going to have a hard time recognizing your wins, and you're going to have a hard time, like, really embracing the change and being appreciative of it. And it'll be easier to listen to that ego that tells you it's just not going to work. So you want to collect evidence. And the collecting evidence is progress photos weekly, stepping on the scale at least once a week. If you're doing 2B Mindset, you're taught to do it daily, whatever, but at least once a week. Measurements at least once a month, and checking in the group daily to show what you're doing, tracking your food or tracking your day, so that people can point things out to you, so that you start to see what we call blue, which is the good, instead of red, which is all of your mistakes. It really will help you. Number 4, you need to admit when you're not motivated. Admit to it. Say, I'm being challenged. Don't say I'm stuck. Don't say I'm struggling. Don't say I suck or I can't do this. If you catch yourself saying that, be like, I'm being challenged. And then something that I'll do, it's a tool that I've learned, is I'll write down, what can I do right now? So if I just ate like half a red velvet cake, I didn't do it, but I'm just saying, say I did. Or like the morning, I bought donuts for my kids. I have an egg sensitivity, y'all, that flares my body up like no other. I had a bad morning. I ate 2 donuts. I was about to clean out the rest of them. And I started this stuff in my head. And deadly vanilla. I can't have vanilla either. And what can I do? I flushed the donuts down the toilet. I texted Sarah that I was struggling. I drank a whole lot of water that day. I started thinking, what can I do? I exercised, not out of punishment, but because I knew it would get the negative out, so I would stop falling into other treats that were not going to serve my goals at the time. But I had to ask myself, I had to stop and ask myself, like, what can I do? So what can you do? If you're injured, or maybe sometimes you hit a first trimester, or some of the women in our group, and you're like so sick, you're like, I don't know how to do anything right now. You can drink water. You can track it like a boss, and you can be proud of it. You can find the window in your day that you're not nauseous and chug your shake, because it's like the best prenatal you can have. You can figure out if there's a time of day you feel okay to do like a 15-minute stretch workout, if that works for you. If you're injured and you're not allowed to work out, you can get on your nutrition and track it like a boss. You can write everything down and be proud of it, not ashamed of it. Be proud of the brownie. Be proud that you went out and had dinner and you enjoyed yourself. No shame, but also be proud that the next day you cut back and didn't have more treats because you're balancing out your week. Like, but admit to what you're going through. Don't deny it. Tell the group, like, y'all, I'm working, we have nurses on here, 12-hour shifts, and I'm trying to stuck right now figuring out how I can do this and be rested. And the group can help you figure even out, what can you do? You can sleep. You can drink your shake. You can drink water. You can make sure to get your veggies in right now. You can count your steps as your workout because you're on your feet all day. You can do your, you know what I'm saying? So asking yourself, like, okay, if I'm challenged, not stuck or struggling, what can I do right now? And maybe you don't know. And that's why our community is here. You say, what, can someone tell me what I can do? I've had to ask. It's been 6.5 years and I have to ask. There's several coaches on here that I FaceTime or text with, and I'm like, what can I do? Because sometimes you do get clouded by your emotion and you need someone to shine a light. And there's no shame in that, you know? Number 5 is actually funny because it's something I apparently said to Sarah one time and I don't remember. And she wrote it one day and I was like, wow, whoever told you that is awesome. She's like, you said it. I was like, oh, even better. Sometimes when you don't feel motivated, you do it for virtue. You do it because you're a person who says you're going to change, and you're just committed that even when you don't feel like it, you're going to show up and grow in virtue, because you're not a person who lies. You're not a person who's dishonest. You're not a person who wants to stay where you are. You just do it because you're going to grow. You're going to grow in self-control. You're going to grow in love. You're going to grow in charity. You're going to grow in gratitude. You're going to grow in joy, because sometimes, even with our kids, we don't feel like changing the diaper. We don't feel like picking them up from school. We don't feel like running the errand. We don't feel like, doing the laundry, but we do it out of virtue sometimes because it's just what we're called to do. Well, your fitness journey is no different, because your body is a temple. And so sometimes you just do it out of virtue. You do it for someone. I don't want to work out this week, but I have a friend who's battling cancer, so I'm going to offer every workout for her. I'll do it for her. That's okay. I'll do it for my spouse. I'll do it for that child that I'm having a hard time with. Make it a prayer. Make it bigger than just you having to do something that you think is kind of a burden. And it puts value on it, and it makes it more important, because it's not just because you got to do 20 minutes with, the step, or you need to go party with Elise in the bar blend workout. Y'all, it's hilarious. But you just do it because you said you would, and you're going to grow, and you trust the process. Number 6, start small. If you're overwhelmed and too much at all at once feels overwhelming, watch one Tubi Mindset video. Focus on increasing your water 8 ounces that week, and then 8 more ounces, not total of 8. Say you do 30 ounces of water, add in 10. Next week, add in 10 more. A great call we had one time that Angie led is, she said, like, put on the video and watch it. Even if you don't want to do it, put it on and watch it. There have been days, y'all, in the last fall when I've not felt well. I've put on the video and only been able to do 15 minutes of it because of my health stuff. I watched the rest because I was like, I did. And it was because of that call, because I felt like I finished it. I might not have been able to do all of it, but I was present for it. And I'm not going to not give myself credit for it. If I'm, giving yourself a chance to start small and build upon it is huge. And if you need help with like making those baby steps, that is something you can do with your coach and say, okay, I got the 2B mindset stuff and I got BOD and I got Shakeology and I'm really overwhelmed as to where to start. And they can help you. Like, let's pick one thing this week. Let's pick one thing the next week. And I know a lot of times if you're like me, you're like, but that's going to take forever. No, what's going to take forever is if you're not doing anything and you're staying stuck and you get mad at yourself and then you go try to find something else that's easier. That's going to take forever. But being consistent over time with the little things, there's a book called The Compound Effect we've been reading as a team. Like it adds up over time and makes a huge impact. And then number 7, you just have to remove the emotion from it and just do it sometimes. Like you just have to just stop thinking about it. My mindset coach says to me all the time, if you're in your head, you're dead. I get stuck in my head a lot, trying to rationalize it, trying to look at the problem and figure out how to fix it. When the truth is, if I just went and pushed play and gave myself the 5-minute rule of I'm going to work out for 5 minutes right now. And if I'm still not feeling it, it's okay to turn it off. Usually by 5 minutes, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like just take the emotion out of it. Just put the shake in the blender and drink it. You got to put Ready Whip on top the first few times to feel fun. Do it. I don't care. Get started. You know what I mean? But you just got to take the emotion out of it. Like you don't have to have this big, like dramatic explanation of anything. You just do it because you said you're going to do it and you don't want to get stuck thinking about it. You just have to drink the Kool-Aid and follow the rules. Yes. Like, and it could be the smallest thing, but y'all celebrate the small things because they're really the biggest victories. Your big wins, your big weight loss, your big strength, strength milestones that you hit in this all come from all the little things. Oh, something just broke. What are you doing? What was it? Oh, soup fell on the floor. So little things over time, but you sometimes just have to remove that emotion from it. You know what I mean? So if you do number 1 of recognizing what that inner ego child, whatever you want to call them, is saying, and then you do number 2 of being honest, what will happen if you don't, then every time you start to want to overanalyze, I'm not motivated, you can say, I don't need to be motivated to just take a step. Just got to take a step. So, I mean, it is good, you guys, to have goals in front of you, to have, like for me over the summer, after I lost the baby, I had a pair of shorts I put on vacation. It was really uncomfortable to put them on. And so my goal was to be able to slip them on comfortably. So even right now in the winter, when I'm check every 10 days, I put my shorts on. But that doesn't motivate me every day to press play. Even if they're like hanging up in my room, they don't. I get excited when I put them on and I see progress, but sometimes I've put them on and they've been tighter. That's not going to motivate me. It has to be, I'm willing to do this when I'm not motivated because I'm capable of doing more than I realize, and being confident in that. And if you're not confident in it yet, leaning on the confidence of the group for the people who've been a little bit ahead of you, who can show you that it works, that it's the way it goes, and who I've become, yes, and who I'm becoming. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share tonight with you, because as you're in the holidays, you get to define what winning is right now for December. You need to define where you want to be already, like goal setting, by the end of the month, and where you want to be at the beginning of the year. But the day-to-day is not just looking at your goal board. I mean, for some people it is. Some people do. Like I love in Morning Meltdown 100. She's got a picture of her son and she goes in the room. But sometimes Jericho shows up because it's her job. I'm sure it's not every morning she wakes up and like dances into the studio. I'm sure she has days that she's in there because she wants us to succeed, or she wants, she's got to get paid or whatever it is. Like there's other things. It's not always pure motivation. That and over time, that's what's made her such a strong trainer. And I mean, I really enjoy having her as the program trainer, the ones I've done with her and stuff. So don't think people, like, even the coaches, like, we haven't had those seasons. We do, and that's why I wanted to do a call on it tonight. Megan, you had something aha this week you were going to share.
Yeah, so I haven't had a chance to like write anything or, you know, prep myself. So this is going to be like classic Megan ADD moment. But I've been feeling really, really low since I would say Thanksgiving, and just like kind of going through the motions with the things like Kelly's saying, like to just kind of take the emotion out of it and show up. And but a constant feeling of overwhelm. And I have always struggled with being a perfectionist and not even noticing it a lot of times. Just my whole life. I mean, my kindergarten teacher used to tell my mom that. And that is exactly what was tripping me up recently. But I am so comfortable with that I didn't even know that's what was tripping me up. And my mom and Jake, who, you know, I confide in the most, were like, Megan, you're just being too hard on yourself. And I just felt so like unmotivated. I didn't feel good, and I was tired, and I just had this feeling like I just want to like run away, and I want things to just change. Everything that's stressful, I just want to experience a different reality. And I knew that was wrong. I knew that my life really isn't that hard, first of all, and that I have so many blessings, but I was getting so frustrated at myself for not being the person I want to be, and not showing up for my family in the way I want to show up, and not showing up for myself in the ways that I know to, because of what my coach has taught me, because of what Kelly has taught me, what this community has taught me, heck, what I teach other people. My mom literally called me out and was like, Megan, you have all these posts all week long, and none of them you're not taking any of your own advice. And anyways, so my challenger and friend Hope reminded me the other night. She was like, I told her how I was feeling, and she was able to identify that I wasn't giving myself permission to accept the feelings that I was having. And it's just like Kelly was saying, like, we have to admit that we're not motivated, or that we just feel stuck, and that we don't want to work out, that we don't want to eat right, that we want to eat. I mean, I was like, I don't care. I know that all these foods will make me feel horrible. I was up at 4 a.m. this morning because I felt horrible from the things I was eating because of my emotional eating. And I knew that what could happen. But I lacked that motivation, and I didn't want to try. And then I spiraled because I didn't want to admit or face the initial emotion, which, okay, I hear something, or my kid acts out, or I did something I didn't want to do, and I don't want to feel bad about something, or I want to show up in a certain way. And instead of just saying like, okay, why am I frustrated right now? Or why am I lacking motivation now? Or why do I feel overwhelmed right now at that very moment, and be able to like talk it through it and see what my ego's saying, what the mean girl's saying, and be able to identify the lack of truth in that, I would just get mad at myself for the way I was feeling, and then spiral. And then I had that constant feeling of overwhelm and wanting to escape my reality. And I think we experience that, and then we want to quit. I was like, who can I lead when I feel this way? I'm a fraud because I am not taking my own advice. I'm not showing up. And that wasn't true. It was because we all feel that, right? We all feel that when we get in that place where we just aren't motivated, and then we hate that we're not motivated, and then we hate ourselves, and then we act upon that, and it's just a big mess. And so what I did to help kind of backtrack through weeks was just journal out, okay, this is a feeling that I'm having when this happens. Okay, why is that happening? And, like our washing machine broke and leaked all over, and nobody could help us, and it's a hot mess. And the house smells because of the leak, and that really bothers me because I felt like, oh, I'm not a good housekeeper. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I should be able to take care of my family. That's bullcrap, because I do take care of my family. The freaking washing machine is out of my control. I'm 5 months pregnant. I can't move. I can't rip up a carpet to dry it out. I can't, Jake and I share a car. I can't run to the store to get soap to scrub the carpet with. I don't have a way of washing the clothes so they smell. You know what I mean? Like, if I had just thought, okay, why is this so frustrating? And the same thing in our journey. Why do I feel so mad that I'm not motivated to work out right now? Well, are you exhausted? Like, do you have a legitimate reason to feel the struggle and the challenge? Or is it just so new and so hard that it's, you are breaking free? I mean, I've had workouts before where I cry during the workout because it's such a mental breakthrough for me to show up and feel my weakness and let myself grow in strength that, tears come. And so, it happens. But what I've really learned this week in my season right now is that just what Kelly said, like, we need to admit it and face it, because that's when we can identify what is actually true and what is not, before we spiral and then quit. That's really all I have.
That's really all. That's really good. Thank you so much. I think it's just key, y'all. Like, I'm just going to go through, and I thank you so much, Megan, for sharing that, because I think it's like this past week when we were talking about what to do the call on tonight, I offered to do this topic because it's what I've been challenged by the last 3 months. It's not because I've mastered it. I'm sharing with you what I'm in the trenches doing every single day. I'm not here because I'm like, well, I mean, y'all, Morning Meltdown 100 is taking me 3,000 days. Like, I'm still modifying. I can't even finish some of the workouts, but you know what? I'm not stopping, and I'm really proud of that. And I'm going to finish before 2020, darn it, because I'm excited about the new program coming out, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But these are the things I'm doing. That's what the coach does. We are in the trenches. And I think that what you said, Megan, is so true. And I'm glad. So that would be like, I feel like that needs to be like number 8, but it actually should be like up at the top. Like, you are allowed to be in that place. It's not bad if you're not motivated. It's not bad if you feel angry or frustrated about where you are in your journey. Like, let that emotion out, because if you don't, it'll start to manifest in the faulty, you're not good, you're a bad mom, you're a bad wife, when really you just need to be like, I'm just frustrated. I did this whole program and I'm on day 80 and I'm up in the scale and I don't understand. And then your coach can say, well, let's take some pictures and take a look, and let's look at your, and recognize what you've done. But you have permission to be frustrated. It's okay, because those emotions can serve you. So I'm so glad you brought that up today, and thank you for sharing. So number 1 is to recognize it as a sign of you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and recognize your inner ego is what I'll call it, that's challenging you because it's afraid of change. Number 2, be honest. What will happen if you don't commit to what you said you want to do? Number 3, collecting that evidence that it's working by tracking and taking progress photos. Number 4, ask yourself, what can I do when you feel like you can't do anything? Because there's always something you can do. especially if it's after you've fallen off. Like, it's really good to help you bounce back. The other day I had a bad day and I was writing down all the stuff that I was doing that was not good because I just had to calm myself out on a piece of paper. But then I started writing, what can I do? And I kind of worked my way down it. That could be a whole other call. Number 5, if you don't want to do it for you, do it for someone else. Do it for the virtue. You're a person of virtue. You said you wanted to do it, so you can grow through it. 6, start small. 7, remove the emotion and just treat it like a task. And then, like Megan said, number 8, which I kind of like, let yourself feel it. Let yourself feel, and don't be ashamed of how you feel. Because it's totally, it's normal and good. If you never lacked motivation, like, I kind of worry. Like, I mean, if someone on here is like, I never, then tell me your secret sauce, because I have not found that. But because I find those times, I know I'm growing through what I'm going through. That rhymes. I know I'm not the first person to say that. I'm going to let Sarah share a little bit about, we always do kind of like a feature to share a little bit about product, and we're really excited about the new one coming out. So we're going to let her share a little bit before we close in prayer.
Hey guys, I'm Sarah. I am going to just give you my 2 cents worth about the Bar Blend program that coaches were able to purchase the VIP early access for the first half of the month, and customers can purchase the VIP early access starting tomorrow. And I'm going to be super, super honest with you to begin with. I thought I would do this program to kind of give myself a break, because I did, starting last year in November, I did Lift 4, and then I did Transform 20 a couple of times. And then I did Morning Meltdown 100. I love that Kelly calls it Morning Meltdown 3000. That makes me laugh. Morning Meltdown 100. And let me just tell you, even in 100 days, it felt like a really long program. And it was amazing. And all of those challenged me a lot. And so I was going to give myself a break. And then I did the preview workout, and I took just as many breaks in the free preview workout as I did when I was doing Transform 20 and Morning Meltdown and all those kinds of things for different reasons. There's also, come to find out, a very small, thin band of muscle that goes along, like, wider than your booty, but not quite all the way out to your hips. I can tell you exactly where those muscles are right now, because they hurt so bad that I can hardly sit with my leg crossed, because that part of my booty is so sore. I have no idea what that muscle is called, but I know exactly where it is on my body right now. And yesterday was long, lean legs, and my inner thighs are like, I've never been sore there in my life. And I, needless to say, was wrong. It is not an easy program, but what is amazing about it is that it is a zero impact program. So I think it's a fabulous thing, particularly for people who either have joint issues, have, shoulder, knee, those kinds of issues, or are just starting to work out and are nervous about super cardio. Because I still am getting sweaty. I'm still getting my heart rate up. But there's an intensifier. There is somebody who adds gems to things, but the majority of the people out there, out of the, 6 people doing the workout in the cast, only one of them is really jumping, and only sometimes. So I just wanted to put that plug out there. It is going to be available as part of Beachbody On Demand in like June. And what you're doing right now is there is a purchase required to get VIP early access that starts in January. So what you can do, apparently tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern, but I was going to say tomorrow, but what you can do now as a challenger is the first week of the workout, and there's some prep workouts that you can do along with it, and you can get your program materials, and there's a calendar that you follow and all those kinds of things. And there is a charge to unlock it through your Beachbody On Demand. So it'll still be part of your streaming catalog. And I will tell you, I did that. I felt like it was worth it for me to do this program through the winter. And I'll be honest, it is a bit of a break for my joints. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and doing less jumping around when it's cold outside, I think is going to be good for me. And the reason I shared the programs that I had been doing was just kind of let you know where I was. Because I think that this program I thought it was going to be a beginner program, I guess is what I'm going to say. And I don't quite feel that way anymore. I think it's a great program. But I do, oh, you got your cards? Man, I was supposed to get my cards yesterday, and then they were supposed to come. Now they're not coming until Tuesday. Man, you got yours too? Oh, you guys suck. Anyway.
Tell them what they are.
Well, maybe you should tell them what they are because you're the one who got them. They're affirmation cards. And so she pulls one out at the beginning of each workout and kind of sets the affirmation. And I'm excited about them because they're pretty. And you can put them, I know it's so backlogged with Christmas. Anyway, you can put them up and have them kind of be your focus point. Because one thing that's really important, like Kelly's been talking about all these tips, is having stuff in front of you and being able to see it and remind yourself of what is true and what your intention is so good. So that's my little plug for, what does that say? I am authentic. Oh, those are so pretty. You guys are making me so jealous. Mine are now not coming till Tuesday. Anyway, yeah, I have my bar blend stuff and my new beach bar flavor are coming.
Me too.
So anyway, that's my plug for Bar Blend. So if you're looking for a program to do, if you've been doing To Be Mindset or Ultimate Portion Fix and you're ready to work in or graduate to a new program, this is a great option. And your coach can help you with how to unlock it, because there's a couple of, oh man, you really suck. My sock's not here either. Anyway, sorry. I really do love my team.
I'm razzing her.
So
it's so funny when
uplifting.
Sarah and I take road trips. If you're crossing a line into a new state and she's in the front seat with you, she will reach over the dashboard so that she crosses into the state before you. Just
You
so
have to be the first one into the state. You have to win.
I'll share this just because, like, so these socks I got them just because they're fun. You don't have to, but they're a fun accessory because you don't have to work out with shoes on, and I'd love that. But I was going to mention that we have the preview workout you can try too, to test it out. And I just want to piggyback on what she said. I was at a retreat in October and I had sprained my ankle, and Elise, who's the trainer, was there. And one of the options was to do her workout. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'll do the bar workout. It'll be easy on my ankle. Y'all, I was walking for the rest of the week with that muscle that Sarah's talking about, like, screaming at me. It was good
all
though.
Little muscles. Because I was lifting heavy when I did Lift 4, and you had to go a little bit lighter in Morning Meltdown because of the way she structures the workouts. I had to buy 1 and 3 pound weights to do the bar blend because I was doing them with 5s and I couldn't hold my weights.
Yeah. Because
she's working really small muscle groups. It really is a very different part of my body than I had worked in any of the previous programs. So I'm excited about that. I'm not. I say all my workout words in the moment, but like in general, I'm excited about it.
It's super exciting. And there's so many great options. So like if you want to add Shakeology or one of the performance lines or things back in, like talk to your coach about helping you figure out the best like way to get started, because there's like a nutrition guide. I was excited. My beach bars, vegan ones haven't come yet. They should be hopefully come this week, but thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I was excited about doing this because we're gonna have a group we're gonna do the program. Like a lot, not everyone, but a lot of us are choosing to do this one, and I'm excited because I've wanted to do a bar class for a long time, but I didn't want to go to a studio. So I'm really excited to do it.
Oh, and the last thing is I just use a chair.
Oh yeah, you don't have to like.
The people on the video, about half of them have like a fancy bar, and then the other half use a chair. And I just use one of my dining room chairs. They're not like super tall or anything. You have to be careful that it doesn't tip over on you. Yeah. But I just use a chair. You could use a counter or anything like that.
Yeah. So cool. Thank you so much. So thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm going to close us in prayer. And just know, like, especially those of you listening, take some time and maybe take some time this week and go through parts 1 and 2. Like, identify what that inner inner ego is saying, change the struggle to challenge, and then think, what will happen if I don't? But then also think, what will happen if I do? Because we're going to talk about goals later in the month, and that's the exciting part. And don't let fear is not a good motivator, I find. It's good to get your focus in the right place, but you don't want to be driven by fear, you want it to almost just let you turn into having joy in the journey. So yes, at some point you have to do something for the first time, like a bar workout. All right, so let's pray. Heavenly Father, I am so grateful for our time together tonight. And I pray for everyone who is here, and also the many challengers and all of our challenge groups and the coaches on our team. Lord, I pray that you would be with us during this Christmas season, this Advent season, as we wait for your birth at Christmas, that we would just tap into our self-care as part of our prayer. Let what we do every day, taking care of our bodies, be something we're doing to give you glory. Help us to let go of the fear, of the perfectionism, of the self-bullying, of the doubt. If anyone has been stuck or challenged for some time, I pray that this call gives them some tools to take a step forward this week. And Lord, I pray that you would strengthen our community, help us to be a light to one another, a safe place to land when we need support, and a place of encouragement and uplifting. And I just thank you, Lord, for the coaches who pour so much into all of our lives and the opportunity to serve. And I pray for our families, for wellness, for our loved ones, for health, hope, healing, and that we would just enjoy this journey that you've called us to walk day by day. It's just a gift, God. Our bodies are such a gift. Help us to learn to love them and appreciate them and honor them with the way we use these tools that we have. And we just thank you, God, and we give you all the glory. In your most holy name we pray. Amen. Thank you, guys. Have an amazing night.